We're at the left-hand elevation now. We're at the rear elevation. Again, we can see this crack. It's mentioned earlier in the foundation. You can see how this crack is moving down towards the foundation here. And when I look at this crack, I can see it's relatively new. Again, there's no debris in here. There should be debris. If it's been here for a long while, debris would be present. You can also see it's cracking in this direction. We've got two directions. Indicates that the foundation is doing this. Now, it could be because of the extremely dry weather we've had in recent times that this foundation has started to move. You can see up at the window here we have a crack opening up. So there is new foundation movement, I would say, new settlement on the left hand side elevation of the property. A little bit of a crack here. And there's an old crack running here up the window. If you tell it's old, can you see how somebody's tried to fill it? And it's moved again around here. Crack up there has been filled but is opening up again. So I'd say this foundation at the current time is showing some sort of settlement. Now, this is not uncommon in foundations in North Texas because we have expansive soils. They expand and contract and they lead to cracking like we see here. But we have cracking now on both the left and right elevation. And both the rear and front elevation. I'm standing in the bedroom at the front right elevation. And remember, on the outside I was pointing out this window here had actually moved away from its brickwork. And what we're looking for is signs of movement in this house. So we're now at the right elevation. You can see there's a crack running from the corner of this vent up to the wall. It's relatively new. It's happened since the building has been painted. In addition, a number of the doors around the house does not fit properly. And these are new doors. One must assume that when they were put in, they fitted correctly. So there's movement in the frames. Now, what I'm looking for is not old movement, but new movement, because I want to establish if this building is really moving or not. The door seems to close okay, and seems relatively square, but around this wall here, right at the top here, you can see a piece of trim work has sprung away, and there's a crack opening in the actual sheetrock right up by the ceiling. We're now at the left-hand elevation, and here, by this is a structural beam. You can see here you've got a bit of movement here in the sheetrock, and along here, along the top of this wall is in this wall here, there's going to be support, and here you can see that there's movement in the ceiling sheetrock, and there's a nail pot here and here. Now, I think that's due to movement in the building rather than just common settlement. We're now moving to the rear left elevation, we're in the master, and above the window here is a brand new crack. In fact, that crack wasn't there until recently because it had been painted over and it's cracked through the paint. There's another crack down here, and it's at this point in the house that we found the cracks in the foundation and the walls. This door is jamming, it doesn't close properly, it's out of square. I think that's due to movement in the building rather than poor workmanship, although I have to say that is the possibility. It was just a lousy worker who did the job. And this door too doesn't fit properly. There's a window inspection. You can see here on this arch window how the condition of the caulking is very poor, and you've got a big crack opening up. This crack has been caused as the window's moved, or the window frame and the brickwork around it has moved with common settlement, and so you're getting a movement here and opening up. That needs to be sealed. This is the water pressure test. We're testing actually the hot and the lime at the moment. It's showing just over 80, but the line I really take notice of for the static water pressure test is the cold water line, which is on the right here. We're going to test that in a second. This is the water heater inspection. We're trying to operate the temperature pressure relief valve. It doesn't work. Okay, these copper pipes supply the water, and down the bottom here we have a steel member, and this pipe here is showing rust at the base of it. Okay, it's not leaking yet, but it suggests that this unit is actually getting towards the end of its working life. I'm trying to establish the age of the water heater. It's very difficult to establish these. The reason being that sometimes they can stay in storage for a number of years, and although it says, you know, they're 10 years old, they're not actually. This has a safety pan, but the safety pan doesn't drain to the outside. So as a consequence, if this was to leak, water will run down from this safety pan and into this area and then flood the house here. So that isn't very good. That needs to be corrected. I would recommend that a drain line for that safety pan is installed. Now we're going to see if we can find the outlet for the temperature pressure relief valve drain line. I'm at the rear elevation of the house, and we're looking at the what looks like it may be the drain line for the temperature pressure relief valve. But my concern is not that. My concern is the amount of water here. There's clearly a leak here. It's been leaking for some time. The ground is pretty wet, and there's vegetation growing in the area. Now the temperature today is over 100, and this has had the sun on it for the last 3 hours, and it's still wet. It would suggest that there's possibly a leak of some sort in the foundation, and I'm not sure that it's from the water heater itself, because the temperature pressure relief valve, which I've just operated or tried to operate, didn't work, so there's no water coming out there. But there certainly appears to be a leak here, and you can see it's all the way around the foundation, this area here.